Let's do one more word with Gerard Kennedy, who is running for the leadership of the Ontario Liberal Party. 1996, Maple Leaf Gardens. Right. You were there running against Dalton McGuinty, who ultimately prevailed at 4:30 in the morning in a different month. That convention started in November, ended in December.
Right.
I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but do you think about, or would you think now, about how the last 16 years of Ontario history might have been different had you prevailed at that convention instead of him?
You know, I had not thought about it once until now, and I didn't realize until it happened and somebody whispered in my ear the result about 3 minutes ahead of time that it didn't devastate me. It wasn't about me. It was about what I wanted to do. I got to do a lot of what I got into it for. I got a fair bit of impact on what happened, but you know, I guess if right away, the only thing that resonates right away is more stuff would happen on poverty. I think that's the one area that not enough has been done, and we still looked at it in an old-fashioned kind of, you know, it's what we do when we got change in the dresser, when there's enough money and so on, and that's just, you know, that's certainly a difference that people will see if I'm selected premier this time. I'm talking about people's potential. I'll invest what's necessary to get people over that hump, out of poverty, into a certain kind of state of, not state of grace, but there's too many people that can move. There's a dynamic that I always observed, and somehow that never became the prevailing thing. But otherwise, I mean, education was what I felt should be there, and certainly we did an emphasis in terms of health care. It's hard to second guess a whole heck of a lot more. I was chair of the election committee, chair of the communications committee, chair of organization. I put everything into getting us elected in 2003. In '99, I chose to support Dalton McGuinty because I thought he gutted it out in that campaign. And so, you know, I think I had my choices, and I think the respect I got from the people at that convention fueled me for the next 10 years.
Let me do one fast follow-up on something you just said, which I didn't know, which is they told you the result of the convention before they announced it to the whole assemblage?
Yeah. So if
Did you tell anybody else?
You know, Dwight Duncan is in a famous tape.
I've seen it.
Yes. But if you look at that, he turns to me and he keeps trying to catch my eye because he's known they come and they give me the result. And then I finally do this. And then he says, "We're something," to Senator Patel.
Did that word begin with an F?
I think it did.
I think it did, yeah. Because they supported you.
But it was they did, yes. And I've told Senator she's practiced that walk. She will just keep going. You know, it's a very human thing. I mean, it was a hard thing for Dwight to do. It was hard for him not to win and to do that kind of stuff. And you know, that is what they do. And you know a little bit before everybody else. It's just one of those things that go with it. But until that instant, I didn't know how devastated or not I would be. In fact, I remember very expressly taking Dalton by the elbow because he was a little bit in shock and saying, "Okay, this is where we make it unanimous," and so on. So it's just an experience. But it's such a privilege. I don't want to over eulogize this stuff, but it is such a privilege to have that many people supporting you. You can't stop there. You can't. I don't think you could just walk away if you have some regard for what that means. People, sometimes the most cynical, put their faith in you, and so you got to carry it forward. And that's what I've been doing, I think, in a variety of forms ever since.
Support Ontario's public television. Donate at tvo.org.